بعود وبصبح على كل اللي انضموا لنا مشاهدينا بفقرتنا الأولى، فقرة دبلوماسية رح نكون عم نحكي فيها عن العلاقة الأثيوبية واللبنانية وعن تاريخ إثيوبيا. ونحكي أكثر عن هذا الموضوع بالسرنة استقبل معي بالاستديو Consul General of Ethiopia to Lebanon, Mr. تيمیسغن أومر. Good morning and welcome to Mariam TV and العلاقات.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me to العلاقات program.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to be our guest, my guest today.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you so much. Mr. تيمیسغن, you've been in office in Lebanon as a Consul General for almost a year now. You arrived in June 2020. Since we're celebrating the anniversary, maybe next month, I want you to describe in few words your stay in Lebanon, knowing that the past year was hard on Lebanon. It was crisis on all levels and the pandemic.
Yeah. To begin with, the relationship between Ethiopia and Lebanon, and in particular in the Arab world in general, goes back to millennium. It is a long-standing relationship that attach the two countries together, which reached this relationship, and this relationship is strengthened by economic and social relationship between the peoples of the two countries. As you said earlier, when I was assigned to this mission, it was really a difficult time.
Yes. A big responsibility as well.
Yeah, because there was, as you mentioned, there were three issues: economic crisis, the pandemic, and explosion, the July 4 explosion. So all these have impacted the lives of Lebanese people.
Exactly.
And there are many Ethiopians who are helping the families of Lebanese, so their lives were also very much affected.
Yes.
So I came in this difficult time, and within the last year, I'm happy that we got very strong support from the Lebanese authorities, and I'm very much thankful to them. In helping the repatriation of Ethiopians back to their family, especially those returnees who were undocumented, who do not have a legal residence.
Yes.
So almost we returned back around 5,000. So within the last 10 years, if you go back, you can't see such a big number of returns, and we are successful in that regard.
Your Excellency, as you said, the explosion of August 4 or Beirut port explosion had many Ethiopian victims.
Yeah.
And as we know, there is more than 100,000 Ethiopians, domestic workers in Lebanon. They are mostly women. Allow me to ask you, how do you deal with these domestic workers, with their issues, especially when they go to the embassy of Ethiopia in Lebanon?
In fact, the number is more than that. It's around more than, we think it's around 300,000, more than 300,000 Ethiopians are estimated to be living here. In any case, we are talking about 100,000s. This is a huge number.
Yes.
And so when the lives of these ladies were affected, especially during the pandemic, we were forced to provide sheltering service, which includes food, sanitary, and everything.
Yes.
We also were providing some legal assistance service for those who have complaints against them by the sponsors. We were also supporting those who were being hospitalized during the explosion we were coordinating with other organizations and institutions to provide them assistance.
نعم.
Yeah. So
Your Excellency كنتوا عم بتأمنوا الملجأ Ethiopians اللي تضرروا بانفجار 4 آب. Going back to domestic workers in Lebanon, Ethiopian domestic workers, do you help or aid any of the hostage domestic workers that are here? Do you help them by providing them some certain legal papers so that they can go back to Ethiopia?
That's what I said. I mentioned around 5,000 undocumented ladies we returned back.
Yes.
So that's what I mentioned earlier.
So your stay in office in Lebanon, Your Excellency, it was hard, but as you said, as a quick recap, it was very good,
yes.
and I hope it was a fruitful one.
Yes. Yeah.
Your Excellency, Ethiopia, land of origins, it has a rich culture and rich diversity. We want to talk about the history of Ethiopia, but after watching this video.
Yes. Thank you.
Welcome to the land of origins, the cradle of humanity, the treasure trove of history and culture, Ethiopia. It has a history and culture like no other. A nation that mastered hospitality from the very nature of its culture. Experience the hospitality felt in your every step. Make your travel historic and thrilling by visiting one of the best tourist destinations in the world. The breathtaking beauty of Ethiopian topography, culture, and history is a must visit once in a lifetime. Endowed with about 70% of the continent's mountains, Ethiopia has astoundingly varying magnificent landscapes, making the country a land of wonders. The highest peaks of Mount Ras Dashen and Danakil Depression, which is one of the hottest in the world, have made Ethiopia a unique destination. Ethiopia boasts the abundance of incredibly diverse fauna and flora. The diverse wildlife reaches like Gelada baboon, Nyala and Wala ibex are among the rarest natural gifts in the world. Our stories have astonished visitors and historians. Ethiopia's more than 10 UNESCO-registered tangible and intangible heritages. Witness the mysteries one after the other. Come admire the country's unique own alphabet, the awe-inspiring people, and a distinct Ethiopian cuisine. The delicious and multiple flavor Ethiopian cuisine features the strong social etiquette of the people. Get the original taste of Ethiopian coffee at its place of origin with a special way of serving it. The traditional coffee ceremony, dances of Ethiopian ethnic groups, and the religious celebrations are very impressive that they stick in the mind. Notice every detail and savor the moment. The very conducive weather all year round makes Ethiopia one of the best destinations for tourists who plan to visit any time of the year. As a gateway to Africa, Ethiopian Airlines takes you to the highest city and political epicenter of Africa, Addis Ababa.
So, Your Excellency, Ethiopia is definitely one of the best tourist destinations that I would definitely invite everyone to visit.
Thank you so much.
Land of origins. Please tell us more about the history of Ethiopia.
Thank you very much for the documentary. I think everything is caught up by the documentary, but just only to give you, this is an old civilization. Ethiopia is not a country of 100 or 200 years. It is a country of millennium, more than 3 millennia.
Yes.
It was one of the oldest civilizations in the world. So
Yes.
it has history, its culture, it's a mosaic of different cultures, different faces, different people. It's by itself, that by itself is an attraction. And
Yes.
there are more than 10 UNESCO registered destinations.
Yes.
And the diversities that you can see from highland,
Yes.
as the Rashdashan, more than 4,600 meters above sea level, to the very lowest in the world,
Yes.
minus 100. So you below, it's below the sea level, 100 meters.
Yes.
So you have seen the magma, live magma. So it's amazing that you see
Yes.
live magma, volcano there. So it's a kind of, it is not only this, it's a kind, it's the origin of Lucy. It is a human being.
Yes.
So the first humanoid is found in Ethiopia.
And it's the origin of coffee.
Yes.
Yes.
You can enumerate. There are many things that Ethiopia. It's
Yes.
because of the variety of the temperature. You know, it is in a temperate zone, but it has also highlands. So it is a mixture of highland and the temperate zone. So it provides the opportunity to produce different products which
Yes.
are of their origin only in Ethiopia.
Yes. As you said, Your Excellency, Ethiopia, land of origin, is rich in culture and diversity. And as I said, it's the origin of coffee in kava forests in Ethiopia.
Yes.
From land of origins, we want to talk about the protests. Since 2015, protests have swept through Ethiopia, starting from Oromia region and reaching all regions in Ethiopia. Allow me to ask you, or to give us a brief about Ethiopia now after 5 years of protests. What these protests, what were the advantages of these protests?
Well, just to brief you a little bit before that, the economy, the Ethiopian economy was registering double digit for the last 20 years.
Yes.
Although the economy was registering double digit, the democratic space was narrow. There was no democratization process.
Yes.
So the political process was
Yes.
not. So that problem also touched the economy, and the distribution of this economic development or growth. So it became inclined to certain individuals, so which also affected the political system by itself.
Yes.
There were 4 parties who were leading the country as a coalition. And among this coalition, the TPLF, Tigray Liberation Front, is one of them.
Yes.
And that was playing a dominant role in the leadership of the country.
Yes.
When the protest started, so it was not only on that organization, but on all government
It was an
officials.
anti-government.
Yeah,
yes,
it's
if we can
anti-government.
say. Exactly.
Yeah,
It was, an
it was
anti-government.
not focused on a single party.
Yes.
But fortunately, during the protest, the 4 coalition parties, they managed the smooth transfer of power to the new prime minister, Dr. Abiy Ahmed.
Yes, Dr. Abiy Ahmed, the new
Yeah.
prime
Yeah.
minister, the Nobel Prize winner.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it was after that.
Yes.
Then this is because of the changes that
Yes.
he brought to the country.
Yes.
It was because of the reforms he
Yes.
unleashed. His Excellency Dr. Abiy Ahmed unleashed many changes in the political spectrum and the economy and in social affairs as well.
Yes.
So because of this, people were just dreaming a new life.
Yes.
And they were very much happy during the peaceful transfer of power.
If we can say it's a new era.
Yeah, it was
before
like
anti-government protests and after anti-government protests, it was a new era with
exactly.
a new prime minister. Yes.
But we can say when His Excellency came to power, he brought 50% of women to the cabinet.
Yes.
It is for the first time.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
Not only this, he invited all opposition parties who were operating outside the country, who were termed as terrorist organization because they were armed. Yes. So they were invited to operate, to participate in dialogue,
yes,
in social political dialogue.
Indeed, His Excellency Dr. Abiy appealed to women after coming to office and becoming the Prime Minister. As I said, Your Excellency, Ethiopia before the protest isn't Ethiopia after the anti-government protests. Now from protests, allow me to go to the controversial topic of all international and Arab media outlines, the Nile.
Would you give me just to say some few words about reform and what the consequence?
Sure.
The political organizations that I named, Tigray Liberation Front, they were opposing the reforms that he was bringing.
Okay.
So they started to oppose this reform. And they went out of the coalition, and the TPLF is a political party also leading a region, the Tigray regional government.
Yes.
So as a regional government, they started to make sabotage against the federal government.
Yes.
They didn't want to follow the rule of law, and they become above the constitution. They become the rulers of that region, especially the TPLF leadership. They totally rejected any kind of communication between, with the federal government.
Yes.
Unless and otherwise, they come back to the power.
Yes. They were refusing for certain conditions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just last year, it was the time for election in our country.
Yes.
Because of the pandemic, the government postponed. Not just it's through the constitutional means.
Yes.
Through the constitutional interpretation, the government postponed the election for this year.
Yes.
They were not happy with this. Not only happiness, they outright rejected that decision, and they established their own election board, which is unlawful. They executed election, and they said they won the whole council 100%.
Yes.
And then after, what they did is they attacked the northern command.
Yes.
Based in it in that area. They attacked the federal government forces.
Yes.
And the government was the government didn't have any option but to respond to that, to make sure that the law of the rule of law is enforced and applied.
Your Excellency, we're running out of time, unfortunately. Back to the controversial topic, the Nile Sad, or the Ethiopian Renaissance. We don't want to talk about the controversial topic. Let's stay light this morning. We want to just talk about the benefits of this Renaissance.
The Renaissance.
Yes.
Okay. It has the benefit not only for Ethiopia. This is a project benefits the other regional countries as well.
Yes.
It helps the development effort of the whole region. Why? It produces electricity. It supplies energy for all countries. and Ethiopia will export it. We cannot consume all energy that is produced through this dam.
Yes.
Not only energy, it also reduces flood. It also reduces siltation.
Yes.
That our brothers in Sudan spend millions to clean their dams.
Yes.
So it reduces this as well. It also increases the capacity, the production capacity of their dams twice. So that means without constructing a new dam, they can double the production of electricity through this. And it also reduces evaporation. Other dams in desert area, they lose the water, and that water does not come back as a rain for the basin. But in Ethiopia, because of the highland situation, if there is any evaporation, that will come back as a rain to the river. So it increases the water volume.
And it increases employment, I guess, right?
There is no question about that.
Yes.
There is no question, because it's also, for Ethiopia, it has multiple benefits.
Yes.
Because the whole economy, when you get energy, the whole economy, the health, education, production sector, all this.
Yes. And Mr. Tیمیسغن, I hope this controversy over the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance will come to an end.
But this, it is for me, this is not controversial. If it is beneficial,
yes,
I don't understand why it would be controversial.
Yes.
It's unless and otherwise, I have to say something about it, because Ethiopia has the right to use this water. It is because it is the country that contributes 86% of the water to the Nile.
Yes.
Ethiopia cannot be denied this right. But it has been denied in 1959 agreement between our downstream countries.
Yes.
I don't want to name.
Mr. Tیمیسغن, I hope this debate, I changed the word with, it changed or come to an end with between the three countries, Egypt, Ethiopia and Sudan.
It will be resolved hopefully through African Union leadership between the three countries.
Yes, Mr. Tیمیسغن, Your Excellency, Consul General of Ethiopia and Lebanon, I want to thank you for your time, and I do hope the best for Ethiopian and Lebanese relations.
Thank you for providing me this opportunity, and thank you all the colleagues.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
مشاهدينا بريك ومنكفي.